Greetings, my friends. Most people don't know this, but you can actually create as much money as you want. For this example, I'll say $1 million. So you can actually create $1 million and not have to pay taxes on a dime of it. This is not about tax evasion. It's not about doing anything illegal. And it's certainly not about loopholes and doing something where everyone is going to have to pay for your entitlement. This is not about that whatsoever. In fact, if anything, for sure, if anything, this is going to help alleviate the tax burden from other people as well as yourself. And these are the kinds of concepts that I teach people about growing themselves in a way that actually benefits other people. I am not going to show you any strategies that's going to have other people paying for an entitlement mentality or any of that kind of garbage, because it's complete nonsense. I don't believe in it, and I don't believe that it's good for anybody really, including the people that are doing shady activities like that, because karma always comes back in multiplication tables. And I think probably most of you that are watching this video, you probably realize and believe that, and you probably believe that as well. So stick around. If you have anything else on right now, I would recommend shutting that down. Pause this if you need to, because you're not going to want to miss this. This is really important. A lot of you I know are struggling paycheck to paycheck. A lot of you are getting help from the government, food stamps, welfare, subsidies, and so on and so forth. And they tell you that if you make any money, they're going to cut you off and stuff like that. So you're scared, and you get all these benefits for your health and so on and so forth. So you're scared to make any money. And when you don't know how money works, I totally understand being scared and skeptic and not knowing what to do and so on and so forth. But I'm telling you, there is a way. So first, I want to speak to you who are on assistance of some kind from the government, and you're worried about creating extra money for your family, something that you want to do, but you're just worried about it because you don't want to lose your benefits and so on and so forth. All right, so, and then I'm going to speak to the rest of you that maybe you're not in that circumstance. Maybe you have a job, you love it, you hate it, you're just barely making ends meet, you're doing better than that, you're doing worse than that. Who knows? I'll speak to the rest of you. At the same time, I'm speaking to those of you that are on assistance, but I will focus on everyone else after I speak to everyone that's on assistance. So watch all of this. You're going to get so much from all of it, because a lot of it sort of overlaps, if you know what I mean. I'm sure you do. So, okay, in concept, this is really easy. And the how-to, I'm going to connect you to, so I'm using this as sort of a resource to connect you to the how-to, because you have to understand the concept first. So, number one, no matter where you are at, if you are on assistance or you're not on assistance, and you want to take control of your taxes and your income and your freedom, the first thing that you have to do is you have to own a business. You have to. The moment that you become a business owner is the moment that you take complete control over your taxes, your income, your freedom. And those of you that are on assistance, you have to make a decision. Do you want to remain trapped beneath that very low glass ceiling that the government has you placed under, the one that crushes your human spirit? Or do you want to shatter that glass ceiling, expand your means, and not have to worry about where the money's going to come from for whatever it is that you need, your health insurance and the benefits that you're getting to pay for whatever? You have to make that decision. And then from there, you got to safely figure it out so that, you don't lose everything. Because I'm not going to teach you how to lose everything either. And with that said, now is a good time for me to tell you to consult with a very knowledgeable tax advisor. Don't go to H&R Block or one of those trains. I'm talking a private firm who has a track record of helping people meet their goals. If you're meeting with somebody who doesn't even ask you what your goals are and is telling you what you should be doing with your income and with your money, fire that person, get a different tax advisor, tax preparer, whatever. And what you learn in this video, you can learn the concepts of, and you can take to a professional if you want to, or you can figure it out yourself without including a person like that in your team. Totally up to you. But if you have a business, which remember I said is the first thing you got to do is own a business, then if you do seek a tax help consultation, whatever fee they charge, it's a 100% tax deduction, because it's for the business. It's a business expense, so it creates you some tax savings immediately. Business startup costs. Now, don't get derailed on any of this stuff. Just watch this all the way through. but business startup costs and any business costs after that is a 100% tax deduction. Automatically, immediately, it puts money back into your pocket by default. So the quickest way to reduce your taxes in your tax bill is to buy a business. I mean, seriously. So what business do you buy? The home business arena is the only option that is really available for mostly anybody. So there's pros and cons in different businesses, but if you do a traditional business, you're going to need a good solid 6 figures or more to get it going. And who has that kind of cash? And a lot of people that have that kind of cash, they blow it, and now they're 6 figures in debt, and they have nothing else coming in. So it's just, in my opinion, completely stupid to use money and only money to solve a money problem, because what people are really doing who just use money and only money, they're actually going further into the hole of debt and financial devastation and stress that comes from it. So don't learn from their example. Don't believe the lies that are out there that are saying that you need money to make money. You don't. People use money every day to become further broke, further in debt, further stressed out, further messed up. People use money every day to wipe themselves out. Don't be one of them. Don't buy that lie that's been sold to you that you need money to make money. That's absolutely not true. So just get rid of that. And back to the kind of business you should buy, I recommend a home business. It is the only business model that exists where you can turn a small, insignificant amount of cash into an enormous fortune that has no limit to the upside. There's nowhere else in the world that is available to anybody, so it makes it a perfect opportunity for people who are broke, who have no money, who have a little bit of money, or even people that are homeless and destitute. It is an absolute perfect thing. And because of credit and things like that, you don't even need to use any of your own money to get started. And even though it is not your own money, you still reap 100% of the tax deductions from using other people's money, which is what credit is. It's a pretty cool deal. That's actually how I got started, was credit, because I didn't have any income coming in. So in case you're wondering where I'm coming from and who am I to talk like this, when I got involved in the home business arena, I had nothing coming in. I didn't even have an unemployment. I really had literally nothing. If you were making $1 a year, you had $1 more than I did at that time. So thank goodness for credit and how I leveraged it, and I still got to reap the tax benefits. How cool is that? And it's available for you too. Okay, so let's say that you don't have credit, you have no cash, you got absolutely none of that stuff. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are at, there you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have nothing or something or a lot or less than nothing, you're in the hole. It really doesn't matter. You could be broke and in debt and no income. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are at, there you are. Grasp that concept and build from there. You don't need more you don't need more resources. Wherever it is that you're at, there you are. You don't need more resources. You need to be more resourceful with what you have. Even if it's just a heartbeat, a good pulse, and some ambition, and some teachability. That's enough. You will be resourceful with what you have. Give more resources to somebody who doesn't learn to become more resourceful, and that person is going to end up further in the hole and without more resources than when they got started. They will actually have crippled themselves more than than before, when they had those extra additional resources just given to them. So that is never the answer, and the resources could be money, it could be, whatever. So that is not it. You have to be resourceful with what you have, and you will have more. Be trusted with the little things, and you'll have more. Be faithful with the little things, and you'll be made ruler of much. Those are general laws of promotion, and I know a lot of people roll their eyes at it, and they are bound and broke. So don't be those people rolling their eyes over those philosophies. It's completely unintelligent to do that. So don't be like those people. All right, so you're in a situation where the government covers a lot of your costs or all of your costs. Now I'm going to start getting into it. And this is true for you whether you're being covered for by the government or you're not, or you're paycheck to paycheck, or a little better or a little worse. This applies to everybody. It really does. So let's say, for example, you buy a business, and your first year, you have made, we'll just say for example, $50,000 your first year. So now, because it's residual, if it's a good business, this is going to be a residual income. Okay, I just want to get that out of the way. Most self-employed people are not earning residual money. They're actually more enslaved to money than people that have a job and depend on a job for money. So as a business owner tied to a residual and passive growing income, the first year you make $50,000, for example. Now, the second year, you don't start at zero and try to make 50 all over again. That's what people with a job do. That's what most self-employed people do who don't have a residual income. That $50,000, because it's residual, is already established business. It's already established volume. So now you get to build on that your second year. Maybe you make 100,000. Who knows? Because you're building on that. You're not starting at zero trying to make 50,000 again. It's a completely different world than you're used to. I know, I get it. But this is a much better one. And let's say by, I don't know, your third year, because it's still building residually, maybe your third year you triple your income. So now you're at like $300,000. That'll never happen at a job. It will never happen for most self-employed people because they're in the wrong business for it. So let's say your third year, $300,000. Now during this time, and this is just an example, you got to decide what makes sense for you. But during this time, that first year, $50,000, the second year, building residually, $100,000, the third year, you're up to $300,000. But during all that time, let's say you expense all of that money out into legitimate business expenses with the intent, purpose for making more money. Now, if you're somebody who's on welfare of any kind and you're worried about the government taking your stuff away from you, this is your ultimate solution. In fact, it is the only one that I know that exists for you in a way that you can have your cake and eat it too, and expand your means and thrive and eventually not have to worry about money. So let me break that down just a little bit because this is actually pretty simple, but you might have to hear it a couple times. But here's what it is. Your first year, $50,000, just for example. We'll stick to that. So that first year, making $50,000, you expense out $50,000, so you claim $0 on your taxes from that business. Therefore, you lose none of your benefits because you're not claiming any extra income whatsoever. I mean, talk about it with whoever your agent is, or whoever you talk to about that sort of stuff. Whatever official, government official, let them know. If you just tell them, look, I signed up for this opportunity to make money right off the bat, because they don't know any better either. They're probably going to tell you that, oh, well, then you're going to risk losing your stuff or whatever. You got to let them know, I signed up for this opportunity to make money as a business owner, and I'm going to expense every dollar out back into the business that makes me any money. So at the end of the year, I will be claiming, and this is the bottom line thing here, I will be claiming $0 on my taxes. Okay? So then it's going to be like, okay, totally cool. You're not going to lose any of your benefits, right? But because this is residual income, there's something really powerful about that. And this doesn't matter if you're on welfare or not on welfare. Because it's residual income, if you keep expensing all that money out back into the business, in other words, rolling it back over, which is what the rich do. The rich roll at least a portion of it. You can decide if it's going to be like 50%, 75%, whatever. But if you do 100%, then you claim zero taxes. But because it's residual and it was invested intelligently, that's how the second year you're going to make more money than you did the first year. So the second year, we'll just say, for example, $100,000. And you keep reinvesting it, rolling it back over. So you got more money coming in the second year, now about twice as much. So you're going to put twice as much money back into your business and developing yourself and personal growth. So now, the second year, you put $100,000 into it. That's what you created that year. You're still claiming $0 on your taxes. If you're receiving government help, you don't lose any of that because you're claiming $0. But all the while, you're creating six figures now, $100,000. That's what six figures is. And let's say by the third year, you triple it. So now you're up to $300,000. And at this point, I would imagine, whatever benefits that you're getting, however great they are with all the perks and the health insurance and covering this or that, I would imagine for just about all of you, if not all of you, most of you, $300,000 is going to be enough for you to say, okay, this year, I'm going to take out some distributions for myself. So let's say, I don't know, $100,000 I'll take out for myself. So that's, taxable income, totally fine. But then that $200,000 I'm going to keep rolling back over into the business, and even though I generated 300, I'm only going to be taxed for 100,000 of it. That's pretty sweet. So that puts you at a lower tax bracket for one thing. So you're going to be paying a lot less in absolute and relative dollars, and you still get to generate that $300,000. And odds are the fourth year, I don't know, maybe you're going to create $500,000. I don't know. That could. And just so you know how realistic this is, I'm not giving you off-the-wall numbers. That's rare. It is very common for people in a residual income setting who are doing well to double their money, triple their money. Heck, in 2010, when the economy was actually officially in the worst recession since the Great Depression, that year when everyone else was losing, I multiplied my personal income by ×7 in the home-based business industry. So I think a multiplication table of 3 tripling your income in the course of a year is, in my opinion, it's kind of conservative. And there's people that have outdone me who have multiplied their income by ×10 in the course of a year, including in bad economies. When people say you can't make money in a bad economy, that's really bad advice. Don't listen to that. If you allow someone to sell you that advice that you can't make money in a bad economy, then honestly, I just want to be truthful with you. You're going to screw yourself over before the economy could, or anybody else for that matter. So be very careful about who you listen to, who you learn from, and what seeds you allow to be sown into your head, and which seeds that you rebuke. You need money to make money, rebuke that one. Yeah, it's hard to make money in a tough economy, rebuke that one. Accept seeds it's easier to make really nice money in a bad economy. Accept that seed. It's a lot better. Accept the seed that says that you're in control of your taxes and how much you're going to make in your freedom. Accept those seeds and let those sprout into really awesome orchards, because your family and other people on the planet are just going to benefit from that. So it's really bigger than you, but it's bigger than you. It's really cool stuff. Okay, so now that you've got that example, so your first year, for example, $50,000, you expense it all out. Second year, $100,000, expense it all out. Third year, $300,000, just for example, you expense it all out, and you decide when, in the course of all this, if you want to take another year or a year less, because maybe the $100,000 mark was enough. It's you decide when you want to start taking distributions, and you're going to have more money coming in from an asset of your own personal resources, not the government. That's going to more than cover you for what they were covering you. Now you've shattered that glass ceiling that the government was placing over you, oppressing your human spirit with. You shatter that sucker and you just go off. But the first thing you got to do, like I said, is you have to buy a business. And unless you have 6 figures, 7 figures, you're probably going to have to start with a home business model because of the insignificant amount of money it takes to start one. And the fact that you don't even need to use a single cent of your own money, and you get the tax write-offs anyway, and there's an unlimited upside in your earnings. So everything about it makes it a perfect combination for anybody. And I've also got this one resource. If you are not able to get credit to buy your business, your home business, nobody will borrow you the money, friends, family, you can't get a credit card, whatever. I actually have a list of 31 ways of raising money now. I actually teach you, specifically I teach you 31 different ways of raising money without having any money, and you can do it. Just about anybody can do it. You can find at least 2 or 3 things in that list of 31 to commit to and actually see it through and make it happen. And you will do it. And once you do that, just that one thing alone, you will be far ahead of most people who already have money, or people who have more money than you, because they never learn those skills. And those people are going to once in a while maybe throw money at a money problem thinking it'll solve it, and they will just end up further in the hole. So that is something that is very, in concept, it's easy to do, but it's going to require some work and some discipline to make it part of your daily rituals so that you can make it work and you actually see it through, instead of doing what most people do about mostly everything in their lives, and that is get excited about something for 10-15 minutes and then they forget about it and they wonder why they remain bound, and it's really sad. So that gem you can find at my website, TomBerkenmeyer.com. 31 ways of raising money now. and you don't need money to do it. All methods are tried and proven. I do not charge you anything for any of that, so I don't know of anybody else right now that is showing somebody how to make money. I mean, actually make money for real and teaching how to make it without having any money and not charging for it. So don't place conditions on this teaching, because I don't think you're going to find it anywhere else. And just go ahead and eat that stuff up and see it through. And just because you didn't pay anything for it, pretend like you paid $1 million for it, or your whole life savings. Just have some kind of skin in the game, because people that don't pay for something of value, generally, they don't pay attention and they stay stuck. So there's something to be said about that. And then, wherever your starting place is, if it's no money, a little bit of money, you're in debt, you have nothing coming in, a little bit coming in, you're homeless, you're almost homeless, wherever it is that you're at, there you are. You be faithful with where you're at, and you will move up. It is a universal law. It's guaranteed for everybody, no matter what the economy is doing. In case you're wondering how I can afford to just give away free training like that actually helps you get results, it's because I've already taken care of me first in the home business arena, the same one I was just talking about just now. So I'm pretty much set, which frees me to be able to do more, to be more generous with my time and resources and just creating trainings like this. And also, I cannot neglect this whatsoever. I also have a 30 Days to Profit training sequence. I do this over Facebook. It's a private group, and we've had a lot of success. I've seen a lot of people make some major breakthroughs in their lives, not just professionally and financially, but personally as well, in all aspects. So you got that balance, and you can have your cake and eat it too, and not have to decide, well, do I want to be financially free, or do I want to have a personal life? There's a lot of people that believe that you've got to make a choice between the two. That's primarily a middle class belief, and so they stay middle class, and actually that's not even true. Nowadays the middle class has to choose, do they want to be poor or do they want to get rich, because they're being squeezed out, and most of them aren't making that choice consciously at all, so they default to poor, and they don't have to. So abandon this idea that you have to pick one or the other. You can have both. You can have it all. You can have your cake and eat it too. And it is, in fact, very much reserved for people who actually learn how to do that, and then people that actually see it through. And that's where most people get hung up, is seeing things through. Most people are kind of like goldfishes, sadly. They get excited about something for 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops, and then they're out. And that 15 minutes can be translated into a couple of days or a couple of weeks or whatever, who knows. Or the first time somebody criticizes their newfound belief of freedom, and then they're like, maybe you're right, maybe this was stupid. That's the way most people live their lives, and I don't want you to be like most people. I want you to be among the minority in terms of gaining your freedom, your independence, making contribution to the world to benefit the whole planet and all the creatures that live on it. At the same time, you're taking care of yourself and your family, and you're not doing these great things of contribution via self-neglect. That's absurd. But you're living a wonderful lifestyle where you're thriving, and it starts with getting into where you're at right now and growing from there. Lots of people roll their eyes at that and they remain bound. Don't be like most people. Do some discovery if you need to. Find out where it is that you're at. Shouldn't be too difficult. You're either broke or you're not. You're homeless, you're not. You're living paycheck to paycheck, or you're a little above or a little below. You got to know where you're at. If you don't have any money or credit or a way to borrow money, then get started with my 31 ways of raising money without any money. It's free. TomBerkenmeyer.com. Just go pick it up. And if you do have some money, then you got to buy a business. If you want to take control of your taxes as well as your income and all those other things I mentioned earlier, the only way is if you have a business. If you have a job, you have no control over your taxes, your income, your freedom, your security, all those things. So the first step is, we can't even talk about reducing your taxes or being able to make all that money without paying a dime in taxes, like that example from earlier, and gaining control of your income and your freedom and your security for your family. We can't even talk about that stuff if you don't have a business. So that really is the first thing you got to do. Or the 31 ways of raising money now for the purpose of being able to buy a business as soon as you can. And if you're looking for a business, which I really, honest to God, I hope you are by now, after the case that I just made. I have one. If you want to take a look at what I'm doing, just privately connect with me. I've got that 30 Days to Profit group that I mentioned earlier. The idea behind that is I've got this, it's a training sequence, 30 days in a row. There's this little homework assignment that goes out, small digestible pieces you can do in your spare time. And the idea is to have you in profit mode by day 30, which is pretty remarkable that a business owner can be in profit mode by day 30 with a small, insignificant sum of money. And that money, by the way, you will use to deduct your taxes, which will create a tax savings for you immediately, puts cash in your pocket. And as you make money, you still get to take all those deductions anyway as you're making money. And that's something that only business owners get to experience. And that's primarily how people who triple their income and quadruple their income and all those things, that's how they do it. They are reducing their tax liability as they're generating more money simultaneously, and that is only available if you have a business. It is not available at a job. It just isn't, guys. So I hope that we can move past that soon, because I know a lot of you just want to fight tooth and nail to fight for the legitimacy of depending on a job for an income, which is the most unintelligent thing that a person can do. A job is fine to have. It really is. It's not for me because I don't want one, but if you love having a job, it is totally fine. But to have one out of a neediness state, because if you stop working, you stop getting paid, you can't take care of your family and pay the bills, that is not a good situation to be needy on a job for. But if you have a job because now it's a luxury, it's an option because you're totally covered with this other residual passive income, well, that's different. Then it's totally cool. And that's intelligent. That's good stuff. So I hope that makes sense to you. But if you want to talk about my 30 Days to Profit training sequence, just privately connect with me. I'll show you a video. And if it turns out to be something that really speaks to your heart, we'll talk further and we'll go ahead and do it if it's right for you. And if it doesn't make any sense to you, then go look for another home business. I will be front center cheering you on. It doesn't matter if you're with my deal or somebody else's. I'm not one of those guys that's going to make you feel weird for not being ready right now or being into my deal or whatever. If you're out there in a home business, even somebody else's, doing it and climbing your way to the top, I will be front center cheering you on, because I think it's a really cool and important thing to get into, because that's how you're going to solve a lot of problems at the root instead of cutting a weed off at the top where it just grows back again stronger than ever. That wraps up this particular training. It was a conceptual kind of training. The blueprint, the how-to stuff, that's going to be available in other areas. Otherwise, to do a one-size-fits-all for whatever your reasons are, man, I'd be here till like next century, something ridiculous like that. But if you connect with me privately, I'll be able to connect you with whatever it is that you need for whatever it is that you want and wherever it is that you're at right now, because wherever you are, that's where you are, and we got to build you up from there. So reach out to me privately. Go to my website, tombirkenmeyer.com, and snoop around my blogs. I know a lot of stuff. And if you use even just a little bit of it to help you even just that much, I'd love to hear about it. Take care, everyone. Make it a great day, and I look forward to hearing back from some of you.